everybody knows why we are celebrating. I hope everybody knows why we are celebrating this chocolate International Chocolate Day on 7th of July. Okay, actually, it was on this day the Europeans brought first batch of chocolate out of America, Mesoamerica. Okay. We are commemorating the event. They transported first batch of chocolate out of the Mesoamerican plateau. So before that, before 3,000 years, chocolate, they were producing chocolate in Mesoamerica, and it was their private. It was their private luxury about the chocolate. Okay. After the Spanish invaders came to American plateaus, they transported chocolate to Europe. That's how they have this chocolate in Europe, and later by 200 years, spread to all over the world. Okay. While we're talking about chocolate, there are different parts like how it is being cultivated, what are the varieties of chocolate, cocoas, varieties of chocolate, varieties of cocoas, and different kinds of chocolate. Means there are actually three type of chocolate, three type of cocoa. Okay, the first one is Criollo. It is the first variant, and it is the super costliest one. Only 10% of the world's chocolate production is from this variety. Okay. The second one is the Forestro. Forestro, it's the highest produced chocolate variant. It's about the 80 percentage of chocolate. Okay. Third one, it's from Trinidad. Everybody knows about, most of you knows about the Trinidad. Trinidad. It's a country, island country from South America. Okay. The word cocoa, it's actually called as Theobroma cocoa. Theobroma means the food of gods. Theo means food, Brahma means God, food of God. Okay, and the ideal temperature for growing the cocoa plant is from the tropical evergreen forest. Okay, it's of the plant grows at 25 to 27 degrees Celsius. Okay, the ideal temperature for the cocoa plant is from 25 to 20 degrees, 27 degrees Celsius. It should not have too much water, and it should not have too much. It will not grow in too much hot temperature. That means all these desert areas and rainforest, it will not grow. It will be in evergreen forest. Okay, it is a variety of plant which is of evergreen. It comes under the evergreen category. So one cocoa plant, it will grow about 21, 15 to 12 to 15-meter high. Okay, but usually the planters in plantations, okay, they will not allow the plant to grow beyond 4 meters, because for their cultivation and collecting all these seeds, they need to be at, at a height which they are, it's very easy for them to collect the pods. Okay, so the in plantations the height will be 4 to 8 meter, and usually the tree will grow to 12 to 15 meters in wilderness. Okay, we said about Criollo cocoa. Okay, Criollo cocoa, it's of purple color. Okay, pink to purple color. Okay, Criollo is actually produced. The highest production of Criollo is from Sri Lanka and Caribbean islands. Now, okay. The first variety, the genuine variety of cocoa, was the Criollo. It was planted first in Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica means countries which comes between south of Mexico and north of Ivory Coast, Costa Rica. Okay? Ivory, Mexico, half of sorry, half of Mexico and half of Costa Rica. Okay, that area is called as Mesoamerica. Okay, the area was ruled by Aztec Empire before 3,000 years. Okay? The first king who got chocolate out of the Mesoamerica is Montezuma. Okay? He was the first person who gave the chocolate to the Spanish invaders. Okay, the most common first the Criollo, the second variety is the Forastero. Forastero it's grown mostly in Amazon basin and Brazil, Ecuador areas. Okay, nowadays the cocoa is not only planted in cultivated not only in Americas, it's cultivated in all the tropical areas like Papua New Guinea, Cuba, Ecuador, everywhere. Okay, so all these tropical areas, it's been cultivated. The third variety is a Trinidado. Trinidado actually is the hybrid of both Criollo and Forastero. In the first period, the when it was said that there was a hurricane, and during that natural disaster, all the cultivation of cocoa from Trinidad has been destroyed. Okay. Later, the people they produced this Forastero variety. They planted the Forastero variety in Trinidad, and there was cross pollination between Trinidado and Forastero and Criollo. So Trinidado is the variety that's a cross of hybrid of these both varieties. That means it has the quality and it has the aromas. Okay, the regions, evergreen regions. Okay, where the Tiboroma cocoa is introduced as mostly from Mexico. Belize. Belize is a region from Mesoamerican Plateau. Guatemala, El Salvador, Ecuador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. Cocoa. The cocoa plant it's been used for creating cocoa bean. Okay, the bean from which we produce the chocolate is called as cocoa bean. Okay? We use cocoa bean to create chocolate liquor, chocolate solid, cocoa butter, and chocolate. These are the four variants. So, then the first variety is the chocolate liquor. Chocolate liquor, it's not a alcohol. Okay, it's actually liquid chocolate because they will roast the while processing cocoa nib. They will roast the nib. They will okay. Again, the roasting it should not be too much. Okay, if they are roasting it for too much time, the color is fading. It will give the bitterness to the chocolate. Okay, so after roasting, the husk will be removed and the nib. After roasting, the cocoa bean will be called as the cocoa nib. Cocoa nib it will be pasted. Okay. One cocoa nib it's 50% of cocoa butter. So that's it has the highest quantity of fat. So this cocoa liquor is the paste of combination of cocoa nib and butter. So it's a semi-solid form. Okay, there is half of the quantity is butter, cocoa butter. The cocoa bean will be fermented, dried, and roasted from separated from the skin. Okay, the bean or cocoa paste will be then pressed to extract the cocoa butter. After pressing, about 40 percentage, all this 50 percentage of this cocoa butter will be removed from the cocoa bean, cocoa this liquor. So after this pressing, whatever is remaining is called as a cocoa solid. So cocoa solid, now we have got cocoa solids, cocoa butter. Okay. And there is some not so popular. There's a alcoholic drink made from cocoa bean. Okay. It's the white part of this cocoa bean. Okay, the fresh ripened cocoa bean, the whitish part. So they will ferment it and they will make some kind of alcoholic beverage. It's either distilled or just like wine. Okay. It's not so popular because of the difficulty in production. The cocoa liquor it contains 53 percentage, and more than half is the fat. Cocoa solid we said is compound of cocoa bean and cocoa butter. Okay, it was after the cocoa butter is been removed, whatever the solid is remaining, it's called as cocoa solid. Again, it contains fat. We cannot remove all the fat from it. Again, it will contain some kind of fat. Okay. And the cocoa powder, the solid, if you're powdering it finely, it will be called as the cocoa powder. So, health fact, health fact about this chocolate is that okay, it was not proven until today that it doesn't have a strong base that cocoa or chocolate will prevent from the heart diseases. Okay? But it's strongly believed that it will give us a good heart. Okay? It's very much healthy for the cardiovascular. Okay. So we have discussed about three varieties of cocoa bean, cocos, okay, Pillow, Forestro, and Trinidad. Okay. So the second division is the division of chocolates. How we can classify chocolate. Chocolate is usually classified as three. One is dark chocolate, one is milk chocolate, other one is white chocolate. So dark chocolate it contains cocoa butter and cocoa solids. Cocoa butter, cocoa solid, and sugar. So dark chocolate is the purest form. Dark chocolate is slightly bitter in taste. Okay. The next version is the milk chocolate. No, white chocolate. White chocolate, there is no cocoa solids, so that's why it is whitish in color. It contains only cocoa butter, milk powder. Either the company, according to the company, it may vary. Okay, they will use either milk solid or condensed milk. The milk somehow the milk has to be there. So there is cocoa butter, milk solid, and sugar. So that's the white chocolate. So this cocoa milk chocolate is a mixture of white chocolate and dark chocolate. Yeah, according to the companies, their recipes, there will be variation in the proportion. Some companies might use 50-50%. Okay, some companies will use 50, 60 and 40. Some companies will use 30 and 70. So it may vary. But usually, milk chocolate is a mix of white chocolate and dark chocolate. So milk chocolate will contain cocoa solid, cocoa butter, sugar, and milk solids. So again, chocolate it can be divided as Coverse chocolate and chocolate. Coverse chocolate. Okay, it's a kind of variation. It's kind of name we give for chocolate, which is about the chocolate contains about 35% of cocoa butter. So for making chocolate, it should be only cocoa butter. You should not use any kind of vegetable fat. If you're making chocolate, we can make the homemade chocolates. Okay, nowadays it's very easy. But if you're using any kind of vegetable fat for making your chocolate, it will not be called as a chocolate. It will be called as a compound. It's not at all a chocolate. So the percentage of cocoa butter gives the name chocolate or Coverture chocolate. Coverture means 35% should be cocoa butter. So dark chocolate, Coverture dark chocolate means it's 35 percentage of cocoa butter. It contains 35% of cocoa butter. Okay. This cocoa butter, if the chocolate is of coverture or if the chocolate contains coverture, this cocoa butter, it will melt below your body temperature. If the body temperature is 36, it will melt at 35. It's very sensitive. All the chocolate is very sensitive. So if you are working with chocolate, you should take care of your product by avoiding contact with water. If there is any kind of water, chocolate will be spoiled. And unsweetened chocolate. Unsweetened chocolate, it's actually there is no sweetness added into the mixture. Okay, We said that the chocolate is of cocoa butter and cocoa solid. So cocoa butter, cocoa solid, and sugar. So there will not be the sugar. Okay. Unsweetened chocolate is mainly used for baking purpose. So if you're making some croissant, the Danish, for those we will use the baking chocolate. Okay, you can buy in the market as Calibu baking chocolate. Okay, there are many companies which produce baking chocolate, very bitter in taste, and it takes too much time. Okay, if you're baking it, it's nice. If you're not baking it, it's not that nice. Okay, it's bitter in taste. Okay, then the chocolate, if you are, you cannot use the chocolate directly as it is. Once the cover, it's about the cover chocolate. Okay, cover chocolate, you cannot use it as it is. If you're melting it, you have to follow some kind of procedures. That means there's a process called tempering. The chocolate, after melting, you have to process it by heating. Means you have to increase the temperature and you have to decrease the temperature to 25, 27, and then again you have to heat it to 35. So the process of heating this chocolate, the procedure is called as the tempering method. There are two type of tempering, two methods of tempering. One, we will be heating the chocolate to 45 degrees Celsius by double boiling. Okay, of course you will be heating by double boiling, or you can microwave it, but you should not. If you're microwaving the chocolate, you should not keep it for more than 10 seconds. Okay, in each 10 seconds you have to mix it properly. If you are taking too much, keeping the micro for too much time, it will burn. Okay, there will be the taste change in taste. So you have to heat the chocolate to 45 degrees Celsius, and then you have to decrease it to 27. Okay. After heating, you have to spread the chocolate on the table and you have to mix it properly. So to make it come to 27 degrees Celsius. And again, after it attain the 27 degrees Celsius, you have to heat it to 31 degrees Celsius. Why we are doing is that because chocolate will form six kind of crystals. Okay. These crystals are made of cocoa butter. So if these crystals are present in the chocolate, it will form white color. Okay. It will be crumbly. If you're making, somebody have tried to make the chocolate, or if you have tried to get in touch with some kind of pure chocolate, once you're melting it, you will see that there's one crumbling. Okay. That crumbliness is because of the crystals. We can avoid this kind of crystals. Okay. While you're working in a hotel or restaurant or some kind of establishment, you should not give or you cannot produce this chocolate with crystals. Okay, it will look like some kind of fungus. It may look like even the taste will change because of the crystals. So we have to avoid all these kind of crystals. So that's why we are following this process called as tempering. The first method is we will spread the chocolate to the table, melt the chocolate, and then we will spread it to the table, and we will decrease the temperature to 27 degrees Celsius. And after it attains 27 degrees Celsius, we will transfer to the bowl, and again we will heat it. We will heat it to 31 degrees Celsius. So by this time, all the crystals will disappear. Now you can use the chocolate as you wish. Okay. And the second method is called as the seeding process. The seeding process, in the seeding process, the chocolate, okay, whatever the quantity we need to melt, okay, if you want to melt for 1 kg of chocolate, you can melt 800 gram of chocolate. Okay, you need the total quantity as 1 kg, but you are melting only 800 gram. Okay. After you melting this 800 gram, you can add the rest 200 gram into your chocolate, melted chocolate, and you can mix it thoroughly. So again, by this method, this is the easiest method that you can temper your chocolate. The last variant is the compound chocolate. Compound chocolate, we can actually call it as a chocolate, but actually it's not supposed to be called as chocolate. It's only called as compound. Dark compound, white compound, and milk compound. You should only call it as compound because it doesn't have any cocoa butter. The main component for the chocolate is the cocoa butter. And if it doesn't have the cocoa butter, it will be called only as a compound. Usually, most of the companies, most of the hotels, most of the companies will use only compound because it's very much cheaper, very much cheaper. But if you are using this compound, you will be risking your quality and taste of the food. Okay. Why they are using compound is that in countries like India, okay, we mainly concentrate on the cost. Okay, actually, if you're counting too much on the cost, mostly we will be using the compound. But the compound, it doesn't give the chocolate taste. The chocolate and compound is entirely different. Okay. Why they are using is that the cost is less. The handling handling procedure, it's very easy. For using compound, you can just melt it and you can just you will get whatever shape you need, and it will get set very easily. Even the shininess of the bonbons, if you're making bonbons and all, you will get the shininess very much faster. But if you're using the cover shape, there is too much procedures. So instead of making this in a quality method or making this in an attractive method way, they are just compromising everything. They are just using the composition. Yeah. The only thing that affects chocolate is the chocolate bloom. Chocolate bloom, just like the crystals in the chocolate. Bloom is a kind of white color found on chocolate. If you're found on chocolate, if you're keeping the chocolate for too much time in cold temperature, or if you are suddenly cooling your chocolate, if you are suddenly freezing your chocolate, within 1 day or 2 days, the color will fade to white color. Okay, later, it will form some shapes like fungus. Okay, actually, it's not fungus; it's only the chocolate, it's only the cocoa butter. So once your chocolate is being formed with chocolate blue, so the only thing you can do is that you can melt it, you can do the tempering process again, and you will get the good one. Okay, okay. So that's the basics of chocolate. Basics of chocolate means the variety from the plant varieties, the region which cultivates it, okay, and types of chocolate we are using. Types of chocolate means um, dark chocolate, white chocolate, milk chocolate. The first, the main one, and the secondary one, the compound chocolate, the sweetened chocolate, unsweetened chocolate, baking chocolate. So those are about the chocolates and about the production of chocolate. Product means cultivation of chocolate. The largest producer of chocolate is the Ivory Coast. Okay? Ivory Coast is a country in Africa, in Northern Africa. They are the highest producer of chocolate. About world 37% of world's cocoa chocolate is produced from Ivory Coast. Other major producers are Ghana and Indonesia. Okay. Ghana produce about 20%, Indonesia produce about 10% of the world's chocolate production. The cocoa plant is cocoa tree. It grows easily in our climate, okay, in Kerala. So the leaf of the cocoa plant will be at least from 40 centimeter, and the width will be about 20 centimeter. Most of you have seen the plant. Okay, flowers, it's very small flowers, about 1 centimeter is the size of the flower. Cocoa is pollinated by tiny flies. Okay, it's not by the honeybees or something. Flies pollinates the cocoa bean. The fruit is 30 centimeter to 30 centimeter length and 10 centimeter width. One fruit will weigh about 500 grams. One fruit will be having about 60 to 70 cocoa beans. Okay. By growing at different regions, the chocolate will be having the taste variance in taste. Okay. We said about we already just talked about the white fleshy part of chocolate, right? So fleshy part of the fruits. So that's been used to make some kind of alcoholic beverages, fermented beverage, and distilled beverages. Okay. They usually produced in Mexico, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Ecuador, all these American countries. And from Asian countries, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, and Japan are using this kind of produces this kind of liquors. In earlier days, the currency system in American plateaus were For the currency system, they were using cocoa bean. Cultivation, about the cultivation, about only 10, already spoke about that. Only 10% of the cocoa is being produced from Criollo variety, the highest variety, highest valued variety. About the 80% is from Forestro. Okay. The main producers of chocolate which we consume now, chocolate bars, are from Hershey's, Nestle, and Mars. Okay. If you're checking all these labels of these companies, what are the chocolate you're consuming, that it will be from either some of these biggest companies. The only place that affect the cocoa plant, cocoa tree, is the rats. Okay? Rats, squirrels, rodents. Okay? The modern history of chocolate comes after 1750. Okay? After the Spanish invaders took chocolate to Spain. Okay? Before that, before 3,000 years, the Aztecs are the indigenous people of America, of Mexico actually. The Aztecs were using it for before 3,000 years. Okay. They had some kind of rituals about sacrifices because they considered it as the holy food. Okay, because they were considering it as the food of God. So they used to have the sacrifices, human sacrifices, animal sacrifices for on cocoa. The way it reaches Europe was through the Spain, and from Spain it went to France, then to England. Okay, and later it was the French colonists who took it to Caribbean islands and later to Venezuela and Philippines. The, from the Spain colonies of Venezuela and Philippines, they, they started this cocoa cultivation in Asia and Venezuela. Okay, so these are the basics of chocolate. Okay, so everybody understood little, even little bit of whatever I spoke today. Um, okay, when you're becoming okay, most of you are interested in kitchen. I know. Okay, about chocolate, you're hearing about chocolate. So when you are planning on being in this industry, okay, in your okay, before that, I would like to speak about single origin chocolate. Okay. The chocolate which we value the most is the Belgium chocolate. Okay, actually, the Belgium chocolate, they were not producing chocolates in Belgium. Okay, they were collecting all this finest quality of cocoa bean from Africa and from Asia. Okay, they will be transporting it to Europe, countries like Belgium and Switzerland. They will process it from there, and they will be producing the most produced varieties of chocolate. But there is some kind of chocolate which are called a single origin chocolate. Single origin chocolate gives, okay, just like alcohol. Okay, you call it as champagne because it's been prepared from Champagne region of France. Okay, and just like that, there are few varieties of chocolate which gives the distinct flavor, special aroma for the product because of the region where it was being produced. Okay. The dark chocolate, okay, these regions are mainly from Madagascar, Papua New Guinea, Ecuador, Mexico, and Dominican Republic and Cameroon. Okay. While we are talking about the single origin chocolate, the chocolate gives, I said, it has its own properties. From if you are having milk chocolate from Ecuador, it has a light caramelly taste. It has light caramel taste. And Mexico, it's bold cocoa flavor. Why? Because Mexico, it was the Criollo flavor, Criollo variety. So it has the original, genuine cocoa flavor. So it was the original flavor. So it's from the Mexico. Its branding is it has the Mexican origin, single origin chocolate. So again from New Guinea. New Guinea, it's an African country. They are from the soil they cultivate the cocoa bean. The chocolate is getting burnt wood flavor. So it's some kind of distinctive flavor with each varieties of chocolate. And if you're not, talking about the dark chocolate, the Ghana, Dominican Republic, okay, Dominican Republic, Ghana, Madagascar, and Cameroon, each having its own distinctive flavors. Okay, and for each companies nowadays, each companies will target on their production from each countries. Each companies will target their production from each countries with their own label as genuine cocoa, okay, and single origin cocoa. So there are a few bigger companies like Calibu, Valrhona, Felchlin. Okay, these are the good companies. Okay, they produce the highest quality, high quality chocolate for us. So so each companies will concentrate on single origin chocolate from special countries, and they will brand it as their own. Okay, so few chocolates will be bitter, so they will classify it as single origin bitter chocolate. There are few chocolates that are 70% of cocoa. 70% cocoa means it's very much bitter, and 60%. Okay, even for 1%, one chocolate will be 35%. Milk chocolate will be usually 35% of cocoa solids, and the second version of milk chocolate will be 36%. So even 1% of change in cocoa, okay, cocoa solid will give the taste in difference. So these are the single origin chocolate. It's very popular nowadays. Okay. And about this industry, okay, unlike other industries of food, the chocolate, while if you're handling chocolate or if you're handling pastries or bakeries, everything is depend upon the scale, whatever you are weighing for your production. If there is any kind of variation or any kind of change in your recipe, you will lose the product of its original quality. So maintaining the quality is the main thing. That means if you are supposed to melt the chocolate at 40 degrees Celsius, okay, double boiling at 40 degrees Celsius, you have to do it that way itself. Okay. If you are being lazy about tempering the chocolate, you will not get the right product. So the method, how we are preparing this chocolate, how we are handling this chocolate, it's very much important. Okay. While joining the hotel management colleges, okay, most of us, about 50% or 60% wish to become a chef. And later, about approximately 30-40%. From that 60%, only 30% will make it to the industry. And from that 30%, only about 10% or 20% will survive in the industry. Okay. Because if you have the passion for being a chef, you can achieve. Okay. It's not an easy way. You have to give your whole time on studying. Okay. Every day you will be studying something new. Okay. Even even nowadays, I'm learning something new. Even my nowadays, my chefs, okay, the senior chefs who are working, okay, in another companies about who are working with me, okay, all are learning something new. Whenever you are getting an opportunity, you should learn more and more things. Okay, it's not only about your department; it's about the rest of the kitchen. Okay, if you are a baker, if you want to become a baker, you should not concentrate only on bakery. Okay, after a few years, you will be forced to handle the pastry also. So give good concentration if you are on baking. Give good concentration on your studies. Okay. It doesn't mean that you have to learn only whatever you have been taught from the college. Okay, you have the internet nowadays and you browse whatever things you want. Okay, so give good time on studying. Okay, and maybe in few years we will be seeing each other. Okay, about the passion, it doesn't mean that you have to become only a restaurant operator, okay, a restaurant chef, or you are working for a five-star chef or hotel, okay, or you are working with a Michelin star restaurant, okay, doesn't mean, okay, if you have the passion, you can achieve whatever you want. Okay, because the hotel management colleges, the college will guide us. Okay, the rest of the knowledge you have to achieve, the experience you have to get it yourself. Okay, somebody is there to guide you. Okay, after getting your guidance, you have to work for yourself. Then you will achieve something. And don't think that after 3 years of college you will be promoted as a senior position. No. Okay, after passing out, you have to know about the industry. During your industrial training, you will know deep about the industry what we are working for. So get the basics first from the industry from the during your industrial training, and after getting your basics, you can decide in which section you want to work. Okay, if you have genuine passion for something, even if it was something difficult time for your training. Okay, nowadays due to this corona, this training is all it's not possible now, right? Because most of the hotels they will not be accepting any kind of internship programs, okay, and the customers are very less. So whenever you get the chance, be with some good chefs. Okay, complete your training. Okay, get your experience from there, and the job you will get after passing as a chef. It's not only about the hotel or restaurants. Okay, you can try for the cruise ships. Cruise ships, there's a wide variety of foods. Okay, means the European cuisine, the Arab cuisine, the French cuisine, all kind of cuisines are there in ship. So you will get paid nicely, and you will have an exposure to all these cuisines. Okay. Doesn't mean it's only French. Okay. There are Russian versions, there are English versions, there are American versions, okay, there are Belgian versions. So there are many kind of variants. So you can learn deeply about all these kind of preparations. Okay. And you can get job in either cruise lines, airlines, hospitals. Hospitals there are good salary and good role for these chefs. Okay, um, who has basics in nutrition. Okay, for all these hospital patients. Okay, they're planning the diet for the patients. Okay, there is a good job opportunity for that. And again, for bureau like auditors, there are companies like Bureau Veritas. Bureau Veritas, I hope most of you have heard about the Bureau Veritas. It's a French company. They do these auditings for hotels, restaurants, even for airline industry. They will be doing the auditing. It means they will be checking the quality of food they are serving, the hygiene standards, everything. So these companies like these auditing companies are concentrating on hiring the auditors from chefs. Okay, former chefs, because as a chef we know what are the quality or how we are doing things. Okay, if we know that this is not up to the mark, okay, while working in the kitchen we know that something is wrong. Okay, so if you become an auditor, from your experience you will know what are the difficulties facing in a restaurant, okay, what are the hygiene standards, what are they doing, okay, everything you will know easily. So becoming an auditor is a nice opportunity. Okay, again, this not only as auditors, okay, even for the food safety department, it's a nice opportunity for a chef. For a chef, okay, okay. I hope the class was a little bit useful for you guys.